I'm going to begin this morning with a question. How many of each animal did Moses take on the ark? Well, research suggests that about half of people answer 2. The other half say it was Noah, not Moses. But if I were to ask how many of each animal did Nixon take on the ark, almost everyone would immediately respond, Nixon didn't. So why is that? Well, our brains are remarkably good at filling in the blanks. When we hear the words how many, animals and ark, we automatically connect the dots. We know the story. They went in 2 by 2, so we supply the missing detail without noticing the error. However, when we hear a word that clearly doesn't belong, like Nixon, our brains flag it straight away. Ark, animals, Nixon. That doesn't fit. The question must be wrong. In psychological terms, this is known as the Moses illusion. The tendency for our minds to fill in gaps in a way that feels right but leads us to incorrect conclusions. When I came across this idea recently, it made me reflect. How often do I do that? How often do I approach something with a presupposed assumption and then simply fill in the blanks? We all do it. Sometimes the consequences are quite trivial, like mistakenly saying Moses took 2 of each animal onto the ark. We may feel a little foolish, but no real harm is done. At other times, though, our assumptions can lead us into far more serious trouble. It struck me that we may do this more often than we realise, and in doing so we rob ourselves of opportunities to grow and to learn. I often speak to people who are trying to work through questions of faith. It can be more complex than it first appears, because each of us brings our own worldview, shaped by our upbringing, experiences, knowledge and influence. We all carry ideas and opinions that feel solid and certain. But how often do we pause long enough to re-examine those ideas? Are we ever in danger of filling in the blanks and arriving at the wrong conclusions? For over 40 years I've been involved in church. Many firmly held beliefs have changed, or at least been reshaped over that time. Things I once suggested were absolute and clear have become more open to interpretation. And I'm sure that some of those once firm held beliefs could have been examples of the Moses illusion, the tendency for our minds to fill in gaps in a way that feels right, but leads us to incorrect conclusions. But if we can slow down, question our assumptions, and remain teachable, we may discover that this process does more than simply protect us from getting things wrong. It can open the door to deeper insights, greater humility, and a richer, more grounded faith. Do you have any firmly held views? Now, those ideas and opinions might be right, but maybe it's time to just allow yourself a little time to check you've not filled in the blanks, and as such are in danger of missing something.